Hello and welcome to my Azurestack Kickstart Getting Started. Azurestack Kickstart helps you to implement and configure a freshly installed Azurestack Developer Edition. So as you can see here on my screen, we just finished installing an Azurestack Developer Edition. What we do now is we start a new PowerShell as administrator. The Azurestack Kickstarter can be installed by using PowerShell Gallery install script. So we just type in install script Azurestack Kickstart and we use the scope of the current user. The minus force is only necessary if you like want to update it. Force also skips the ask for adding the paths for the scripts to the current user environment. So once this is done, you can reach the script just by typing in Azurestack Kickstart. So we still have the US keyboard here. Azurestack Kickstart.ps1. As we have the US keyboard and I want to use the German keyboard, I add -language tag and I can browse through all the language settings that are available, and I have to use the German keyboard, of course, which is the EDE. So this now is updating some settings on the Azure Stack, like disabling updates, setting the language and keyboard settings to German. It goes out and installs Chrome, as well as it goes out and installs Git SCM and of course some other utilities I'm using later on. So the download might take a few moments in this case for Chrome, as I'm connected via a DSL line, which is not the fastest one, just to get the transparent proxy running. So after this one is done, Chrome is installed. It continues with Git and also some shortcuts on the desktop for the admin and management portals of Azurestack. So now Chrome's up and running. It installs Git SCM. I'm installing it because I will install the Azurestack Kickstarter by using a git clone command. I'm constantly changing, adding new features to Azurestack Kickstart, so the best thing is using Git to get all the repositories. And even for some of the Azurestack tools, Git is the better method of downloading stuff. So now I'm cloning into the Azurestack Kickstart. Once this is done, the installation is finished. So what we first need for Azurestack Kickstart, I have some environmental settings that are copied into a JSON file, which is the admin JSON file. I'm going to copy the files to my home directory from the Azurestack Kickstart installation because I will need them later on to configure my environment. So copy those two files for admin and user. And now I'm editing the files. So for the admin JSON file, um, there are some settings for the DNS domain, which is azurestack.external for the external domain, the domain itself, the location, which is local, the user I use for virtual machines, and the first thing we need to change is the tenant name, which here is contoso.com in the example, but my real tenant name is carsten.emc on microsoft.com. Then we need a subscription ID, which we are using to sign in or subscribe with Azure. So this is my default subscription ID I have up in Azure. Put in my subscription owner because those values are required from some of the tools I'm using. The service user, in my case, it's mass admin. The cloud admin user, that's the one that we use within Azure Stack to do administrative tasks. the location that we want to use for the Azurestack tools, because we are cloning into Azurestack tools into a special directory. Make sure that you have the double backslash, otherwise it's not a valid JSON format. The Azure Stack module versions, I update this frequently depending on the module version Microsoft is using, the RM profile. So I set this here as well in order to configure Azure Stack PowerShell modules to the right RM profile. The SQL admins, so you can choose, change the names for those admins to install later on the SQL and MySQL resource providers, as well as the host name for those hosts. With that, I leave it to defaults. So now we have configured that file. We can do similar with the user JSON file, as we don't need the user JSON file right now. I'm leaving out this step. So once this is done, the first thing we have to do is we cd into Azurestack Kickstart. Oh, there's a cd Azurestack Kickstart. And the first script we are going to run is initial stack, which is in the admin folder. So this does the initial Azure Stack installation of Azure Stack modules. You can run this script every time from a new PowerShell session, just in order to install the RM Bootstrapper and update the Azure Stack modules. This will also delete old modules, old Azure modules, old Azure Stack modules, just to clean up your installation. Because if you're using Azure Stack over time, you will find that deleting old versions of modules might be a big pain. So this takes a while for installing. And once this is done, we can start to register our Azure Stack. So now that we have installed all modules and the Azure Stack tool from GitHub, the first thing we have to do is we register the Azure Stack as a developer environment with Azure. So we type in register stack. And it tells me that we have not configured yet a subscription ID, or that we have not configured Bootstrap or run bootstrap.ps1. So we run the 99 bootstrap.ps1, which will load the variables into our session, asks for a service admin password. So this is my service admin and the cloud admin. Now those credentials get stored in my environment. And now we can register the stack. The first thing he's testing the configuration to the privileged endpoint by using the credentials I have stored earlier for the cloud admin. And then it starts the registration of my Azure Stack with Azure. So it takes a few moments. And now we need to log in with our subscription owner. Which is not the service admin. So this is the guy that is the owner of our current subscription. It's my personal account, and it selects the default subscription that we have chosen or configured earlier. And now it starts the registration. This will take a few moments. Once that is finished, usually up to 10 minutes, once this is finished, we can start with using our Azure Stack. After registration of our Azurestack is done, we can start with the customizing. So first of all, we run our Bootstrap script again, which connects to our endpoints and sets the admin points and the management points. No credentials are required right now because we set the credentials from the previous run. So what we're going to deploy now is some base plans and quotas by running the script number 10, deploy base plans and quotas, and we can add a plan name like base. If we don't add a plan name, it will create a random plan with the base name base and adds a random number to it. Takes a few moments, and then we have our base quotas and plans set up in Azurestack. So we are ready to go with this right now for basic subscriptions. The next stuff we are going to do is we have to upload a Windows Server image to the marketplace. For this, I've got a special utility to rename the server image version based upon the knowledge base articles and dates. So if you get the content of my Windows update.json and convert it into variables, you can see I have the knowledge base article. Here it is, the 4056890, which is the meltdown fix from 3rd of January 2018, which has a special kernel version or build number. I will add this build number to the version information of the Windows OS image. So in order to get to this, I go into my Azurestack and select one of those knowledge base articles, run deploy Windows Marketplace image with the knowledge base article. I could add the location of, for instance, the ISO files or the location of the update files. If I don't add them, they are automatically taken from what we've said earlier with the Bootstrap. So we don't need to set them here. It's just for reference, and we can specify the SKU version that we want to have, if we want to have the data center, the core, or both. So I don't specify anything right now, so I just run the deploy. It checks if I have already downloaded the ISO file to the download directory, and if I have already downloaded the knowledge base article, and if I have already created those images with the special version information. As I have not created them right now, the system is going to build images for both versions. This might take a while depending on your system speed, download speed. Might take up to, let's say, 30 minutes to create those images because there are some DISM steps that need to be taken to update the image and to inject stuff like Net Framework and all the other things. Once this is done, we have a image or two images that's set in our marketplace. I will be right back after this one is done. As I said, it might take up to 20 minutes.